Hello friends, in this lecture we are going to talk about electrical or secondary pressure transducer. Bourdon tube, all the elastic type of pressure transducers, for example Bourdon tube, diaphragm, capsule, bellows, etc. These types of transducers are known as primary transducers. Primary transducers are the transducers which are directly connected to the process where the process is going on. Okay, so primary transducers are directly connected to the process. Now, one more point, the output of primary transducers is of mechanical nature. The output of primary transducers will be some deflection, some displacement. These types of output will be of primary types of transducer, right? Okay, so if you want to process the output or you want to display the output at a distance from the process where the process is going on, you don't want your result to be displayed there itself. You want the result to display in your control room, which is 1 kilometer apart from the industry. Okay, so in that case you need to convert that displacement. You cannot directly transmit the displacement to your control room. So in that scenario you have to convert that mechanical output into some electrical output so that you can send that electrical output to a distant place where the output can be displayed. Okay, so you need another set of secondary transducer or electrical transducer. Electrical transducers or secondary transducers are those transducers which give output as an electrical quantity. The input will be of mechanical type and the output of secondary transducers will be of electrical type like voltage or current. So these quantities, current or voltage, can be transmitted. So in most of the cases you will transmit current only. Okay, why current only? Let me tell you another point. The range of those current will be 4 to 20 milliampere. This you will study in process control. Why 4 to 20 milliampere? Okay, so let's not go into that direction. Now this is secondary transducer which shows output as an electrical quantity. So this is your input pressure. This is your input pressure and this is your process, main process, where the pressure is generating and where you need to measure the pressure. Okay, so to measure that pressure you need a primary transducer, a primary transducer. Okay, now if you want to process the output of the primary transducer, you need to convert this into an electrical signal. Okay, so you need secondary transducer. You need a secondary transducer. Secondary transducer means the output of this transducer will be of electrical type. Then there will be another circuitry which is signal conditioning, which is signal conditioning. Okay, now signal conditioning is required whether you want to amplify those signals or you want to attenuate those signals. Okay, depending upon the requirement you need some signal conditioning circuitry. Okay, now transmit this signal, the output of signal conditioning circuit, transmit this and some other place you will display the results. So if this process is at 1 kilometer distance, it will be shown in your control room's display, right? I hope my point is clear here. So there are many types of electrical or secondary transducers. Capacitive transducer, capacitive transducer, piezoelectric transducer, piezoelectric transducer, resistive transducer, resistive transducer, reluctance or inductance, reluctance type of transducer, reluctance type of transducer, LVDT based transducers, LVDT based transducers. Okay. Okay. So there may be piezoresistive transducers. So there are many more type of secondary transducers possible. Let me write this also. Piezoresistive transducers. So these types of secondary transducers are possible. So in these types we will study about capacitive transducer, piezoelectric transducer, resistive transducer, reluctance type transducer, LVDT type of transducers. Okay, so we'll study these types of transducers in brief. We'll just get some idea about these secondary transducers. Okay, now we'll start capacitive transducer here. Okay, now let us study about something known as capacitive transducer. Okay, capacitive transducer, in this type of transducer, first of all, this is your secondary transducer, and in the secondary transducer, for the measurement purpose, you need the output from the primary transducer. For example, here this is a diaphragm. For example, this is diaphragm. So this is construction of the capacitive transducer. For example, there may be many more type of capacitive transducer. This is one of those. Okay, now this is unsealed cavity. This is unsealed cavity, and this plate is stationary plate. This plate is stationary plate. Stationary plate of the capacitor. This is stationary plate of the capacitor. Okay, now this is your diaphragm plate. This is your diaphragm plate. Upon, if a pressure is applied on this diaphragm plate, this will be deflected. This will be deflected, and the air gap will be changed. This d naught value will be changed, and if d naught is getting changed, then capacitance will also be changed. If distance between two plates, we know that C is nothing but epsilon A by D. Capacitance is nothing but epsilon A by D, where A is cross-sectional area, and D is distance between the plates. So if the distance between the plates is getting changed upon the application of pressure, then your capacitance value will be changed. If capacitance value is getting changed, then if we connect this capacitor in a Wheatstone bridge, then you will get some voltage output, right? So this is your unsealed cavity, and this is your sealed vacuum cavity. This part is your sealed vacuum cavity, and you are applying pressure on this stationary plate. By application of the pressure on this stationary plate, your pressure sensitive plate is getting deformed. Pressure sensitive plate is getting deflected, thereby changing the distance between the plates, d naught. And if d naught is getting changed, then your output will be changed, or capacitance will be changed. If your capacitance, if these two ports are connected in a Wheatstone bridge like this is your capacitive transducer, and it is variable. It is variable by the application of pressure, and you have connected this resistance. You have connected this resistance R1, R2, R3, and you have supplied excitation voltage here, okay, and you are measuring output voltage V0 here. You are measuring output voltage V0 here. So V0, if you connect these 2 points, output ports, in this Wheatstone bridge, then you will get voltage output. Okay, so upon changing pressure, or we can say that pressure can be directly calibrated to measure voltage, or voltage can be directly calibrated in terms of pressure, because if capacitance value is getting changed, your output voltage will be changed. And how the capacitance is getting changed? By the application of pressure, so if pressure is being changed, capacitance value will be changed. If capacitance value is getting changed, then your output voltage will be changed. So you can directly calibrate voltage in terms of pressure. So this is your capacitive transducer, and this is one of those capacitive transducers. There may be many more capacitive transducers possible. Okay, what are the advantages of capacitive transducers? This is very stable output. The output of capacitive transducer is very stable, and the response, the output of the capacitive transducer is linear in nature, which is an advantage. The output is electrical output, so that we will be able to transmit the output to a distant place. Both absolute and gauge pressure can be measured. Absolute pressure means if you add gauge pressure into atmospheric pressure, then absolute pressure is acquired. Okay, so you can measure absolute and gauge pressure also. That's why there here is your sealed vacuum cavity. You can measure vacuum pressure also with this type of transducer. Okay, there are some disadvantages of capacitive transducers. What are those? This is sensitive to temperature variation. If change in temperature is very high, then the output of this transducer will be affected. Okay, complicated setup. The setup is complicated, susceptible to presence of conducting object in the vicinity. If there is some conducting object, or there is some electricity in the vicinity of capacitive transducer, then output of capacitive transducer will be affected, and the output voltage there will be some stray output voltage in your original output. So you cannot get the correct output if there is some conducting object in the vicinity of this your capacitive transducer, right? So that's why we need electrical isolation for the capacitive transducer. Okay, so this is all about your capacitive transducer. After capacitive transducer, we will going to study piezoelectric transducer, right? So this is your piezoelectric transducer, right? This is one of the secondary transducers which has electrical output, right? So this is your piezoelectric crystal in the middle, and these are electrodes. And input pressure is applied here. So if we apply input pressure on a piezoelectric material, then it generates electrical output. Because the material property of the piezoelectric. Okay, piezoelectric material is such that when it is applied some stress on the piezoelectric material, then it generates voltage output, or it gets polarized. It gets polarized, or it generates charge inside this material. Okay, so this charge is collected by some charge collecting circuitry, and you will get an voltage output in return. Okay, so pressure can be calibrated into output voltage, or output voltage which you are getting can be directly calibrated to measure the pressure here. Okay, so this is your piezoelectric transducer, and this is very easy, and this transducer is very easy to operate. Let us see some advantages and disadvantages of piezoelectric transducer. First one is the response of the piezoelectric transducer is very fast. This can be used in critical applications where there is turbulence, or at industries where furnaces are required at high temperature. Okay, IC engines. Okay, high stiffness and rugged construction. The construction of piezoelectric transducer is rugged, and it has high stiffness. Okay, it has good frequency response, it has wide operating range of pressure, and this is output of the transducer of piezoelectric transducer is linear. And if we are using quartz crystal, quartz crystal is piezoelectric material. There are some other synthetic materials available which has piezoelectric property. Now quartz is your natural piezoelectric material. If you are using quartz, then you have an advantage of good linearity with this quartz crystal. You can measure quasi-static pressure also. You can measure quasi-static pressure. The problem with piezoelectric material is that it can only measure dynamic pressure. It can measure only dynamic pressure. It cannot measure static pressure. If pressure is not changing continuously, then you cannot measure the pressure output. Okay, if static pressure, for example 100 pascal is applied and it is constant throughout the time, then the output of quartz crystal will be 0. That's wrong, right? So for example, if you are measuring pressure which is continuously varying, at some point it is 100 pascal, at some point it is 99, then 98, it is continuously varying, then piezoelectric transducer is very beneficial. Okay, this can measure dynamic output. Now, what are disadvantages of piezoelectric transducer? This is not suitable for static pressure. I just explained why. Okay. Second disadvantage is this needs expertise during installation. In the installation, you must follow some procedures to install the piezoelectric transducer, right? This is susceptible to shock and vibration. Piezoelectric crystal is very brittle. It can break if you are not handling it with cautions, right? So you need expertise during installation, as well as this is susceptible to shock and vibration. This requires charge amplification circuitry. Why? Because the output of piezoelectric transducer is very small. The voltage output you are getting here, this quantity will be very small. This quantity will be in the level of microampere, microvolt. If we are talking about current, then current will be in the range of microampere. So microampere range is very difficult to measure. So for the measurement purpose, you need some amplification. For that amplification, you need some external circuits. Okay, so that's why it requires charge amplification circuitry. And if last disadvantage is if there is overloading, then it may be failed. Okay, it can be failed if there is overloading. So this is all about piezoelectric transducer. In the next sessions, we are going to study about variable reluctance type transducer and LVDT type of transducer. Right? Thank you.